Soon, a narcissistic trust fund baby who was never qualified for the position to begin with and who is now a convicted felon is being inaugurated back into office. A man who divided this country with constant and consistent lies, propaganda, and hateful and dangerous rhetoric. A man who led a violent insurrection against this country because he could not accept the loss of the 2020 election. He fueled the anger and hostility of his mob of blind supporters to march down Pennsylvania Avenue and lay siege on the Capitol. "Be there, we'll be wild," he said, demanding the metal detectors be taken down in wake of the weapons they carried because he said that they were not there to hurt him. His own lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, who has since been indicted and disbarred, said it would be a trial by combat, and Trump threatened his own Vice President Mike Pence to sanction his plot to illegally overturn the election while a noose hung for him outside during a riot that was cause for the deaths of at least 7 people. Calling January 6th anything other than a violent coup attempt to destroy our democracy would be nothing but ignorant and the implementation of revisionist history we so often see perpetrated by fascists. He is a man with a long documented history of racism, corruption, and sexual misconduct, who attacks anyone who speaks against him with childish insults, name-calling, defamatory lies, and threats. His supporters often claim to carry Christian values and family values, yet they support a man that does not hold any of those values himself, a man who is documented to have cheated on his first wife, the same wife that accused him of rape, a man who cheated on his now wife with porn star Stormy Daniels and paid her $130,000 for silence, resulting in his lawyer Michael Cohen taking the fall for wiring the money, which resulted in his disbarment and 3 years in federal prison. He subsequently wrote a book criticizing Trump as a cheat, a mobster, a liar, a fraud, a bully, a racist, a predator, and a con man. It's no mistake that so many who pledge loyalty to Trump are often thrown under the bus, facing consequences for the criminal activity he asks of them, while he continues to evade consequence. It's no wonder they would feel the need to speak against him with facts that most of us who aren't blind already know. There's a long list of officials from Trump's first administration who are now critics that have been publicly degraded and subject to childish bullying tactics from their former commander-in-chief. How anybody stands beside the character of a man like that is beyond me. Trump is a man who lied about never liking Jeffrey Epstein when Epstein himself claimed on recording that he was his best friend for 10 years, and Trump is on record in 2002 saying that Epstein was a terrific guy that he knew for 15 years and that he, quote, likes beautiful women as much as I do, many of them on the younger side. Trump is a man who lied, saying he never flew on Epstein's plane, nicknamed the Lolita Express, when FAA logs show he flew at least 7 times on it. Epstein himself stated the first time that Trump slept with his now wife Melania was on that very plane. Trump is a man who has sexual assault allegations against him from over 26 women dating back to the 1970s, found liable for sexual abuse, has admitted to sexual assault on audio recording and bragged about it, and had a joint pedophilia case against both him and Epstein in 2016, 3 years before Epstein was arrested and committed suicide. And now he feels the need to appoint multiple people accused of the similar sexual crimes, including statutory rape and human trafficking, to his administration. How any parent could support this man is unfathomable to me. Trump is a man who has padded his administration with billionaires, sexual misconduct offenders, conspiracy theorists, and controversial and unqualified people from whom he demands undying loyalty but will not reciprocate as demonstrated with his previous administration. Everything I've said is just a tip of the iceberg of how dangerous Donald Trump is as President of the United States. He wields an enormous amount of cult-like influence. He labels Antifa, an organization founded on peaceful protests combating racism and fascism, a terrorist organization, but refuses to do so for the KKK and other neo-Nazi and white supremacist organizations whose very existence hinges on violence. And that's because they support him. He colluded with Russia to interfere in the 2016 election through the social media we utilize every day, a tactic that has continued with the likes of Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, doing away with third-party fact-checkers to easily seed misinformation to shift narratives in their favor, using bots to spread propaganda while the real censorship they pretend to be against happens in the shadows at their own hands. Elon Musk spent $277 million to help Trump get reelected, and since that election doubled his net worth to an unprecedented $450 billion. Musk is the richest man in the world and is adamant on spewing hateful vitriol on his platform every day. A platform he champions as one for free speech, yet each new development is used to silence those that speak out against him. He uses his platform to interfere in the politics of different nations, including supporting far-right and neo-Nazi regimes in Germany, the UK, and the US. He abandoned his own transgender daughter, stating the woke mind virus has killed my son, and has continuously rallied against the LGBTQ community like his president and much of the GOP. And now Donald Trump has given him the opportunity to co-head a new government entity tasked with determining what parts of government are efficient or not. A department called Doge, named after a cryptocurrency that Elon Musk continuously pumps and holds stake in, while Elon Musk's companies are given billions yearly in government contracts in an overwhelmingly gross conflict of interest. The corruption is out in the open for all of us to see, and they are laughing at the fact that so many people are welcoming it without caring to understand. Donald Trump caters to billionaires who continue to get richer through this corruption, hoarding wealth and pillaging our natural resources while inequality and the wealth gap grow larger. The middle class continues to shrink, and the natural world we live in continues to be destroyed at an exponential rate. Donald Trump is a man that in the wake of environmental tragedies like the hurricane that hit western North Carolina or the wildfires in California would rather politicize it, once again exercising his talent of concocting bold-faced lies and conspiracy theories and using his channels to present them as facts to supporters that refuse to question or challenge him. He uses these lies to shift the narrative in his favor instead of contributing any meaningful aid. He masquerades as someone who knows better than the experts of any given field while having absolutely no expertise himself. He does not convince people with the truth. He convinces them with loud, mean fear based on lies and then tells you it's the other guy that's actually doing it. And look, we have corruption at the highest levels on either side of the political spectrum. This is news to no one because it's all about money in this flawed system we have. But we are continuously moving further in the wrong direction. Donald Trump is a bully, a liar, a criminal, and a treasonous coward. He is not my president. Anyone who supports him is planting their flag on the wrong side of history, on the side of hatred, bigotry, and idiocy. Those who are unable to recognize the fascism in our country today that parallels the regimes of past that committed genocide and numerous other atrocities need to relinquish the attachment to their echo chambers, deal in facts, and look at the character of those they blindly support. Times are changing, and I refuse to sit in self-imposed ignorance or apathy. So many people do not care of the crimes committed against the world if they believe it does not affect them. We used to learn in history about the dangers of that kind of apathy. I implore you not to turn a blind eye. We should be critical every day, pushing back against these fascist agendas, collective voices demanding to be heard while supporting our brothers and sisters on this planet we all share who will directly be affected by the regressive policies and ideologies pushed by the upcoming administration. An administration that wants to ban books because it loves the poorly educated. An administration that wants to control what women are allowed to do with their bodies. An administration that wants to eliminate protections for marginalized communities. An administration that thinks it's above the system of checks and balances we have. Trump himself has more than once floated the idea of unconstitutionally taking a third term once this one is finished. Though we have faltered, I believe it is our responsibility as Americans to stop the blatant destruction of our democracy by someone who cares only of money and power and not of the American people. To all my friends and even family that voted for Trump, to the ones that support him, I know we all feel lost in the brush, but it is not too late to take a step back and truly see the forest from the trees.